the era of AI. I think curiosity is not just about learning new stuff, about, opening your mind and saying yes to stuff you don't know and being ready for miscomfort.
The good things of being an imposter.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on that?
Being an imposter at one point, so doesn't mean you're not confident. Team and founders is probably like 80% of the analysis we're making on the business, because we're betting on people at
80%.
that point. But
Are they
at
solving a real problem?
Are they solving a real problem? Are they obsessed by their clients? But at one point, it's the people, because it's going to pivot. The business model will change and all that stuff. You have to let go on that part, but you never have to let go on people.
Well, Guillaume, welcome to the Montreal Entrepreneur Podcast. It's an honor, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
Really excited to be here.
You have a lot of great insight you're going to share with us about venture capital. Can't wait.
I'll do my best.
To begin with, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Guillaume, a guy from up north Montreal. So, and I'm a music junkie. So I would define myself like this. So I probably ruined my credit or the credit of my mom with Columbia record. I don't know if you remember, you were buying one record and they sent you 12. But the trick was, you had to pay for a year to get another record. But, whatever. So I'm still a big music fan.
Do you play music?
I'm not. I'm actually such a bad musician that, I wanted to be a super fan. So rapidly I moved to Montreal because that was the place. And did my finance degree.
Okay.
But really wanted to work in the music industry. So I knocked on the door of labels. BMG accepted, even if I was not speaking English at that time. And
oh, really? What were you speaking?
Just French.
Just French, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so, they accepted me. I worked there and they merged with Sony. And that was such an interesting time. That was a peak of music. Working with HMV and the retail shops and the marketing and the local artists. But, the streaming and peer-to-peer came into the industry. Napster, LimeWire, Napster.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep, and Spotify. And I was so fascinated by it. But as you can imagine, the labels were a bit freaking out. So I probably, at that point, without even knowing, but I chose the innovation path. And I was always fascinated by how technology or new business model were changing the game. So worked a lot in experiential marketing and live entertainment and broadcasting. And led me, really fast forward to work for the family office of Guy Laliberté, is the founder of Cirque du Soleil, and Le Rouge. So they wanted to empower creative minds, injecting entrepreneurship and technology to propel their career and their business. So we worked on an incubator called Zoo. And the goal was really to put 4 pillars to help those creative entrepreneur. First pillar was, a real estate, so a nest for those entrepreneur, which was, downtown Montreal, which is a beautiful Alcan house that has been renovated. Second pillar was the human interface. So how can we support, the entrepreneur with mentorship programs and so all that stuff. So which is now and still going on really well at Zoo. Third pillar was the tech equipment tooling. So providing the right tool for those entrepreneurs to learn and to implement the most cutting edge technology into their business. And the fourth, pillar was the capital, because at one point as an entrepreneur, it's great to have all of this, but you need
capital is important.
You need fuel, right? So, but we didn't really know how to do it. So we started, the 3 first pillar, and we wanted to learn from them. So
how long ago was that?
That was during the pandemic, just before the pandemic and the pandemic. So that was actually a really grassroots gap assessment exercise of just getting to know what's the best way to help those creative minds, getting into business and live out from it. So what we learned is there were smart capital firm investing in technology for media, entertainment, music, gaming, creator economy, and everything, next gen consumer tech. So there was a lot of B2B SaaS, a lot of fintech, clean tech, biotech, but nothing for the creative minds. And every time those great entrepreneur with a creative project or journey, they had to go to US because
Okay.
all the standard or typical VC were telling them go find a lead investor because we don't know that part. That's how we started to think about what's Triptyq now. It's being venture capital adapted and dedicated to technology within the creative industries, with the conviction to lead rounds, support those entrepreneurs, and propel their business.
So at that time, were you still with the family office, or
I was still, but at one point we had to spin it out, and lucky enough, and I will always be really grateful. But Guy and the family office were our anchor investor,
Okay.
and we were able to gather many strategic investor that knows really well the industry, that understood our thesis, and we raised $41 million.
Wow.
And yeah, we're now 3 partners. I'm lucky enough to have great partners and great colleagues. Our team is just fabulous. And yeah, it's been, we closed the fund in 2022 and just started to invest and deploy the capital into, founders that are bold, ambitious, and disruptive.
So you mostly target those that are in the media and for the creatives.
Yep, because that's what we know first.
Yes,
So
your
you have to-
background
yeah,
as
here we
well.
go. So you have to invest in what you know. My background is more, as you can see, operator. So operator, go to market marketing. That's what I'm good at. My other partner, Charles, is a lawyer.
Okay.
Did a lot of institutional investment at VC and private equity firms. So the deal making, the fund administration, compliance, risk mitigation, all
That's
that
very
stuff.
important.
Really important. And my other partner is Bertrand. He's the geek in chief, entrepreneur, art, techie, gamer.
Okay.
So he built XR headset. Funny enough, we were talking before just the podcast, but an overnight success of over 10, 12 years led him to exit and to sell his company to Apple.
Wow. Really?
So sell to Apple, move there, work at Apple, and build, or was part of the team that built the Vision Pro, which is probably one of the most cutting edge spatial computing.
Nice. Did he benefit
tool.
from the fund or no?
Oh, for
The
sure.
cap-
No,
oh,
he was.
okay.
He's fortunate enough. He had a. It was really hard, but he had a good exit. Yeah,
Okay, good. So then that's very good for Triptyq as well.
it is for sure. Yeah.
Nice. At the beginning of the podcast, we talked about the good things of being an imposter. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because if you look at it's funny because when I never dreamed about it being a VC, and
Yes.
it's interesting because many of my peer, when I'm talking to other VCs, that's a dream job. They always aim to be a GP, general partner, and I never dreamed.
Because you studied in finance.
I studied in finance, but I love the operation of running a business. So so for me, just growing and getting there, I was like, oh my God, I'm not a tech entrepreneur. I'm not the investment banking guy. So am I a fraud at one point? And throughout my career, because I change and I always push the limits, my own limits, and I'm always turning to the most famous imposters, and the one that I really like is Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is one of the most famous music producer. He doesn't even play any instruments. He doesn't even know how to control, all the monitors and all that stuff.
And he's the what? He's the most famous what?
Music producers.
Wow.
Work with from Run DMC to Slayer to Johnny Cash, and I just finished his new book, which is fantastic. And for him, being an imposter is actually proving that you're never coasting. that you always push yourself,
For sure.
and that being an imposter at one point, being an imposter doesn't mean you're not confident or you don't trust yourself. It's just that you give yourself another perspective
Yeah.
on any topic or subject. And because if you're living, breathing, only did one thing and you're domain expert, you sometimes, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a domain expert, but you're stuck into
Yeah.
the lingo,
Like in the bubble.
in the
Yeah.
bubble. And just being an imposter, sometimes you'll even help those domain expert, getting another perspective. So I'm trying to take that imposter syndrome into and turn it into an advantage or a cutting edge,
Because
a
usually
creative edge.
it's seen in a negative light. So I do like
Yeah.
your spin on it, make it something
Yeah.
positive. Yes.
Yeah, because at one point I can, I can fight it all the time,
Yes.
but I think,
But does it ever go away eventually?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Probably, some people probably, go over it, but
Yeah.
I still struggle at one point, like in some circumstances with this, but I'm actually living really well with it.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Because it can destroy many
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs. Like the dream. Like what? Yeah. What was I thinking? The first block that they encounter in their
Yep.
path, and they stop. Yes, because of
But
that.
I'm just looking at our own industry. And sometimes people are like, oh, you're not from Hollywood. Don't try to go into film and movie. And you look at Reed Hastings, who's the founder and CEO of Netflix, doesn't come from Hollywood.
No.
Change Hollywood completely.
Yeah.
Daniel Heck from Sweden, not coming from the music at all, changed the industry, completely with Spotify. So I'm like, I think for sure they had tech expertise. They understood, the capital market, but they surround themselves with people that knows really well this industry, and their fresh perspective, and that I'm pretty sure they're living with that imposter syndrome.
Yes.
But it was a creative edge for them and for their business.
Definitely. So, do you see founders when they come to pitch? You sometimes do you see them dealing with that, and can you see the ones that are using it as an advantage as well?
Yeah, when you're investing at early stage, because we're pre-seed and seed, so really
Okay.
early stage, so they don't have a product market fit. They're still in through the validation
So pre-revenue,
phase,
basically.
pre-revenue, or some small revenue, or I would say traction, not revenue, but
Okay.
like traction from the market. But they're into the validation phase. Team and founders is probably like 80% of the analysis we're making on the business, because we're betting on people. At that point,
80%.
yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
Because for sure we're analyze, like we do deep research on the market and the total addressable market. We look at the under the hood for the technology and say, oh, is there any patent? Is it defensible? But
Are they
at one-
solving a real problem?
Are they solving a real problem? Are they obsessed by their clients? But at one point, it's the people, because it's
Yeah.
gonna pivot. The business model will change and all that stuff. So you have to let go on that part, but you never have to let go on people. On
But what are
talent.
you looking for specifically?
So we're looking for dedication and passion
Dedication and
about
passion.
the problem they're trying to solve. Really about that. Always a bit scared when they're passionate too much about their product. They have to be passionate about the problem they're solving, because the product will change a bit. Do they have the skills, competencies? Do they have the founder market fit? And founder market fit doesn't need to be industry expertise, but are they the one? Because there's probably like tons of people that the same idea, but why them?
Okay.
Why them? So why those founder will make it? So, and depending on the problem they're trying to address, we'll do the analysis on the founder market fit. And I would say personally, and I know my colleagues share the same, but one of the thing we're looking at, it's how the founder, the CEO mostly, is he able, or the team, are they able to gather and to recruit the best talent? Because they won't be able to do it with money. Google, big tech will offer
Yes.
them way more. So they have to sell their purpose, their passion to
Yeah.
other great individual and build a kick-ass team. And it's not made for everyone, and it's pretty rare to see those type of leader that bring the best in their team.
So recruiting talent and talent retention.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting. How can they prove that from the beginning? If they're a small team.
Yeah, it's sometimes you're gonna see some signals on the angel investors
Okay.
they were able to attract, on the advisors they were able to get to help
Okay.
them in their and guide them into their journey, even just by having some people on the side saying, they're just waiting for a financing round so that I can pay them,
Okay.
but they're ready to jump.
So there are signals that you
There's
can.
signals
Okay.
that you can see that they've got, and even just communicating the desire to hire great talent that knows more than them. It's a really good signal.
Yeah, the ability to not only sell what they're solving, sell themselves. Is it just one meeting, or that's over a few
No,
meetings?
like we do, we've got a process. Usually, the team is meeting. Every founder. If the first meeting goes well, probably like 30 minutes.
Okay.
There's a partner assigned, the right one. If I'm the best suited to do it, I'm
Then
gonna
you'll
do
do it,
it. But
okay.
it could be Bert, it could be Shal, and we spend more like an hour on what we say the T's, like team, traction, technology, terms,
Yes.
obviously, and timing. Is it the right timing to get this business out of the ground? And we go over the T's over with them. And after 2 meetings, we are trying to be disciplined and say no, because the business of VC is 99% of the time we say no,
Yeah.
and we have to say no in a proper way with constructive feedback. But if it's a yes, then after that it's more due diligence on all of those T's that I mentioned prior.
So if it's a yes, by the time that you get to due diligence, how long the whole process might take?
It really depends, but I would say hopefully less than a month.
Oh, okay, that's pretty fast.
Because we're trying to we put ourselves in the position of being capable of leading the round, so setting the terms, and after that syndicating, so bringing other co-investor. It's going to depend on the size of the round, type of co-investor we're bringing into the round. But yeah, I would say probably a month.
When it comes to co-investors, is
Yep.
it something that you do often? Like, do you partner up with those in the state?
Just thinking, I don't think we did it by ourselves like even once. So
Oh,
I think
really?
we're always trying to bring other co-investors for multiple reasons, because I think we've got expertise in our firm, but we don't have all the expertise. So bringing other VC that are bringing other skill sets.
Okay.
So we'll say, I don't know, we're not specialists in marketplaces. So if we love what's happening with a gaming tech firm or company, like we could lead because we know gaming, but bringing someone another VC that knows really well the business model, so marketplaces, will do it. Maybe as well, that company has a lot of potential in Asia, so let's bring a VC from Asia as well to open the
Really?
market. So that's the way we're trying.
So you have a network of VCs
we do.
that.
Oh, we do.
So there's no
But
competition?
it's such a gossip world. Oh my God, it's actually super similar to the music industry,
Oh, really?
because the music industry you had back in the days, and still you've got all those agents and booking agents and labels, and everyone were talking about that's the next big artist, that's the
Okay.
next big one. And it's the same with in VC, that's the next big startup, and you should meet that founder, exceptional, charismatic. And so it's really similar.
So it's a small world, basically.
FOMO as well.
Yeah.
There's some FOMOs and all that stuff, and under invitation and who it's really relationship driven, really
Wow.
relationship driven. So I'm making fun out of it, but it's great because people think it's really highly competitive. We're sharks and all that stuff. At all, zero.
It's not like Shark Tank or
Oh no,
anything like.
please, no, it's not at all. It's it could be competitive for sure when you've got a
good deal, yeah.
good deal, or you've got access to a stealth mode type of founder. You jump and you go fast, but But usually it's really collaborative.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
A typical week, I would say.
Okay, let's say a week, yes.
Because, most of the VCs are acting the same way. So on the Monday, we've got our partners meeting. We look at, the deal flow that, opportunities we received recently. And we just filter scan which one we wanna meet. We go after, on the second meeting list. So, from the second meeting list, which one we want to say yes or no. And after that, we do a review of our portfolio and say, is there any urgency, any specific material topic we should talk about? So that's pretty much Monday. Tuesday to, Thursday, it's like meeting with founders, from our portcos, board meetings of those portcos, meeting with entrepreneur for, deal flow of new entrepreneur, new opportunities, talking to other, co-investors and VCs on just sharing best practices as well on, what we do as professional investor. And on Friday, usually it's like more an admin day.
Yeah.
We look at, the firm operation, tech stack, just we look at, more at ourselves, because we're a business and we're a startup. Because
COVID was not that long ago.
Usually, like a VC, usually a runway is 4 years.
4 years.
So after 4 years, you have to raise another fund.
So has it been? You're close to the 4 years. Oh, it's been 4 years.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. We're entering, our 4th year. So we still have money to deploy because every VCs are. If you look at the plain vanilla VC, it's like you've got every fund is 10 year.
Yes.
The 4 first year is portfolio construction. So you're investing in building your portfolio, and the 6th one is the 6 remaining is more the value creation period. So basically choosing your champion from your portfolio, doubling down, helping them
grow,
and, grow and invest more into them.
Okay.
But you're not adding new companies during the 6 after the 4th year. So you have to build another fund to continue and adding up portfolio companies.
But you said you have some funds remaining from the
sure.
Okay.
Yep.
But you're going for
obviously, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do you have a number in mind on how much you want to?
We're pretty ambitious. I think we're aiming for a bigger fund, but not to do more companies.
To sustain the ones you currently have.
No, it's because our there's different strategy in VC. There's what we call spray and pray, which is actually not, even if it's not our strategy, and I'm not criticizing at all that strategy, but spray and pray is like investing and really betting on the power law of investing in many companies, and after that doubling down on the best ones.
Okay.
We're more specialized VC, boutique VC with a specific thesis and with not a mandate, but with the capacity to lead because we're domain expert with our thesis. So we do 4 or 5 investment per year, bigger check size.
What is the check?
$1 to $1.5 million.
Okay.
Trying to be diligent on the ownership. So around 10% of the company. That's pretty much what we're aiming for.
Okay.
And just leading deals takes way more time because all the co-investors are relying on your expertise, your due diligence, the terms you're setting. And usually when you lead, you've got board seats, so you've got more ongoing activities with each portfolio company. So we're more highly conviction specialized VC than more the agnostic spray and pray. So to go back to fund 2, so we're would like to have maybe between like 75 and up in terms of million in our fund, but same thing, doing like 4 or 5 investment, but larger check size, maybe being even more diligent on the ownership, because what we saw in the industry right now, the industry is facing challenges in terms of liquidity because there's the public market is going it's going well, but there's not a lot of new IPOs. So IPOs are like the holy grail for VC.
Yes.
But now the window is pretty close.
Why is that?
Because first, there's a lot of money in the private market, and going public is highly demanding in terms of reporting, compliance, and public market is really tough on valuation these days. So IPO is just not there yet. We're getting there, but it's reopening. And in the private market, with all the uncertainties and the high interest rate, the M&As market has been slowing down as well. So overall, all those it's trickling down to liquidity in our portfolio, not just myself, but the VC community in general. So we're all facing that, and the limited partner that are investing in VC funds are expecting distribution at one point. We're not a liquid investment
Exactly.
because it's pretty long before the company we grow the company and we exit it or sell it or IPOs. So what the biggest consequences of that is you've got fewer deals, less company getting funded, but with larger round.
Okay.
So because you need more runway, you need more capital, and we're betting on champion.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
a little bit more what's happening. And to go back to what I was mentioning about my fund one is like larger round means that you bigger valuation, so you need bigger check to be to respect your ownership objective. So that's a little bit how we envision it. So that's our plan.
And how do you raise funds?
I like it actually. I really like it. It's hard, really humbling. Because
Is it harder on your side than the founders seeking your capital?
similar.
Similar?
Yeah,
Okay.
similar. That's why we do understand their reality. But it's super humbling because they look at your own track record and like, why am I giving you
Yeah,
my money?
yeah,
Because I can put it in real estate, I can which is a little bit more secure, maybe less performing in terms of profitability, but way less risky, tangible. We can put it in public market.
A bit faster.
Exactly, more liquid, or you. So you've got alternatives, right?
Yes.
So we have to sell why. And returns are for sure one thing you have to sell as a VC, but I found that there are multiple other reasons that attract and appeal LPs. Many LPs, corporate LPs mostly, sometimes they don't invest enough in R&D. They're just heads down into running their business. They don't have time to keep up with technology and all that stuff. So VCs are a good way to have a view
Definitely.
on the landscape of
Yeah.
technology and all that stuff. So many companies are investing, yes, for return, I'm always saying, but as well to get that view on innovation. Some high net worth individual entrepreneur are investing as well to learn on how VC to help other founders.
Okay.
So there's not a philanthropic, necessarily objective, but a bit. They want to help others and being involved with like getting interaction with founders, which other investment are not. Like if you're in public market, all that's like
Yes, exactly.
you don't
Yeah.
need to you can't. And other and the third is other investors are investing for co-investment opportunities and or M&A perspective. So they're like, okay, great. So I don't want
What
to
is
do
M&A?
merger and acquisition. So some companies don't have the time or don't have the corporate finance team internally to say, okay, we'll look into the market on what's happening. So having an early stage VC, grooming those companies. At one point, they can say, "Oh, I can be a client," or even, "Yeah, you know what? I like that company. I'm gonna co-invest," or talk about strategic partnership with them.
And do you find that there are a lot of investors like in Montreal? What are you seeing in terms of investors?
Montreal is, and Quebec in general, it's challenging.
It's challenging.
Let's face it, because most of the of successful founders now that exited their company are coming from the service company. So they had a really successful service company, more into the traditional industries.
Give
So
me an example of.
just retail, we'll
Okay.
say, or grocery or manufacturing. So investing in tech is so different. Business model are different.
Yeah.
The burst and buzz type of philosophy. So for them, it's just like, wow, it's so different. Even like if you had, if you're talking to a doctor or a pharmacist, or it's really tangible for them. They have different franchise, and they're they've got cash flow. So for them, starting and investing in highly disruptive technology, there's an education to do for that. Second thing is there's not a lot of there's less high net worth individual in Quebec in general. So we have to face that.
Where are they mostly? In Canada.
Yeah, I think Montreal, Toronto, Calgary are probably the good ones in terms of quantity of family offices, multifamily offices, and high net worth individual. But I just think sometimes it's harder to just get the high risk, high reward message to potential investor and VCs. And I think that's a good thing about the community in Montreal of VCs. We're really all together as a community trying to educate and spread the good word about VC as a vehicle to grow the productivity and and bring the Quebec market to the next gen economy.
Yeah, definitely. But also, there's a saying maybe that plays into play here where they say invest in what you know.
Yep.
So if they're coming from the service industry, it's like, we're not investing.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right.
And maybe the long way, they find it too long, right?
It's not liquid. It's not a
No.
liquid investment. So yeah. So it's just the understanding as well.
Yeah, for sure, I understand. And what is the success rate for the current companies that you have? Like,
It's so low.
so low.
Yeah, and it depends what you mean by success rate, because
Well, you said IPO. It's not easy. So already, I don't know. Did you have
it's less than 1%.
less than 1%?
Not
So
even.
how do you define success then? Maybe it's a better question.
I think there's a common, and I'm not saying every VCs are thinking the same way, but I would say standard success is we're trying to have what we call a fund returner. So an investment that will return the size of the fund. So let's say I've got 10% of a company that exit at 400 million. So I get 40 million in return.
Yes.
That returns my fund.
Okay.
So that's for us. That a lot of VCs are thinking always when they're investing, they're like, is it a fund returner? You've got all those debates with the analyst, the associate, and your advisor, and all the GP, and probably like the last question or one of the question will be, is it a fund returner? Is it going to be a fund returner? So I think is it success? I think a fund returner is a success for sure, because that's what people are expecting.
Yes, because exiting that's the ultimate goal.
It is.
Okay. So even when at the early stage, you're already looking in the future, is this company going to score big at the exit?
And that's the interesting part, because in most of the debates we've got internally, it's about the future.
Yes.
Because I'm investing in a company that might address now a problem, but if I'm only investing in the now, I won't have success. That's private equity. That's other type of investment. VCs are looking at least what is going to happen in 3 to 5 years, because that's the exit, horizon. So we have to debate on what's going to be the future and what are the signals that back up your arguments and your position. So it's really interesting.
It is very interesting.
So you have to educate a lot yourself on next generation of consumer, next generation of workers,
Okay.
next economy. Where you're a media now, like you're you're a
Yes.
distribution channel, which was linear TV before, but now the creator economy is,
It's booming.
I would say, it already replaced
Yeah,
the
definitely.
old generation.
Traditional,
Yeah, there
yes.
you go. So if you were not believing that 3 years ago and you did invest in linear
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah. Just like Blockbuster.
bye.
Bye. And especially now AI, what are you seeing and how is that changing your perspective on investing?
Yeah, AI is a fascinating technology because it's going to be it's transformative. It's not going to be. It is already transformative. Everything is AI now, so that's the biggest challenge. It's like how there's a lot of smoke and mirror on AI companies. So you have to be really diligent on what's a really AI company. And myself, what I'm trying to do, because every company has AI now or will implement AI, it's like I'm looking at the company, I'm removing the AI part, and I'm saying, is it a viable company? Are they trying? Are they capable to survive and to do it? And if I'm putting AI into it, just propelling the entire thing. But AI is going to be, if I'm just looking at artists in the creative industries, wow, it's already changing everything. Like VO3, you look at that in Mid Journey,
Yeah.
and you look at the text to speech, and you look at the deep fake, and it's just like wow, it's
Yeah.
just going so fast.
Yeah.
But what are the business model? If you look at IP and intellectual property and protection of that, and is it free to use, the fair use, and the like a lot of regulation laws will be around that. And but it's going to be transformative. My vision, I was at a music conference in Atlanta, and I said to people that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was at that same conference, Spotify was the persona non grata. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And now Spotify and streaming in music, it's over 70% of the revenues.
Yeah.
If I think it's 78%. I do believe in 3 to 5 years, AI will be the main revenue driver in the music industry. Number one, over streaming. That's my belief. I might be wrong, and I'll probably be wrong. But if I'm right, I might exaggerate. But I think it's gonna generate a lot of velocity, and it's gonna change the revenue streams in, we'll say, in the music industry. But I think it's gonna do the same thing in many other sectors.
For sure. AI, it's very exciting and also a little bit scary for a lot of people because it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs. You don't.
For sure. Some people are more doomy than I am. I just read a book, and 100 years ago, 93% of the population was working in agriculture,
Yes.
and now it's less than 2%. And there's not 91% of unemployment. You know what I mean? So,
Yes, I see what you mean.
so I think it's gonna employment will shift.
Yes, for sure.
100%. There's gonna be some sectors that will be they'll be touched, and it might be dramatic for some industries, and job market will change. If you do a snapshot of the job market, like say in the US right now, job cuts or the unemployment rate is not that scary. What's the most scary right now? It's the job opening. So there are less job openings. So companies are not recruiting, less recruiting. One of the
Yes.
worst job opening stats.
But there's also a lot of cut that have been made by
A lot of
Microsoft.
cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but big tech and all that stuff, which is, if you look at it and you benchmark it with other years, not like it's not
Not
way
there's no
more.
spike.
No,
Okay.
it's and you like, is it really AI? Or uncertainty, tariffs? There's so much stuff going on.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
But the job opening is interesting. So people are a little bit more on hold. I think companies, for the economic context, just wait and see.
Yeah.
And with AI as well, they're saying, oh, can we do more with less people? So we're into the cost efficiencies and reorg. So that's what's happening. So we'll see. I think I don't think it's going to be that disastrous. I think it's going to be challenging for a couple industries, but I think I'm optimistic.
It is good to be optimistic a bit.
Trying to. Always, I've got kids, as you know, and I'm trying to be
Yes,
optimistic
I
for
know,
them.
exactly. Because you're thinking, okay,
Yeah.
what field should they go into when they graduate? Because how AI will impact those jobs,
Yeah.
you know? Should they go into coding, or is it just going to be AI now? Or
Yeah, I think they have to be curious. And I'm
Yes.
going back to, it's probably, you need that curiosity. And everyone, who's scared about it, I'm saying, try things. Try it. Try AI.
yes, that's important. That way
And
they can see how they can leverage it.
here we go.
Yeah, for sure. And in Montreal landscape, you have a lot of founders. Most of them, are they coming from Montreal or other places as well?
Yeah, since we're investing at early stages, I think proximity is really key, even more as a lead investor. So we're actively engaged into the startup community in Montreal, and we're investing. Most of our funds have been deployed in Quebec and then in locally, but we look elsewhere as well, because I think that's a really good practice to have, because founders from the same VCs are all like, we're trying to get them to know each other, to collide, collaborate. Maybe there's some synergies. So I think it's a really good thing to have founders from Montreal to meet with founders from California, to founders from UK, and exchanging on best practices, seeing different perspectives. So I think it's really a sane thing
Okay.
to get that diversity geographically as well. But we do like that proximity.
And you talked about the collision of tech and culture. How do you see that playing out? I don't know, in Montreal or in Canada?
Montreal is a fantastic place. I think it's not even because I'm coming from here, but I think we've got it all to HQ our fun year. So if you go back in history, probably one of the first tech VC back company was into the creative industry. Soft Image by Daniel Langlois. He created, the 3D graphic design and software that changed the cinematic industry, like Jurassic Park, the first
Yeah.
dinosaur. That's the software that was built here.
Wow.
And that was VC backed and sold to Microsoft. Bill Gates was in Montreal for that acquisition. Daniel Langlois, the founder, was sitting on the board of Microsoft. Can you imagine? We have a Quebecois, sitting on the board of Microsoft, and after that, it was resold to Autodesk, and Autodesk came here. They've got a large office here, so it was really, really transformative for Montreal. Brought the tech and the creative, and after that you had the Cirque du Soleil with
Yes.
they bought ticketing companies, they invested in innovation, like giving first shot at Moment Factory and all that stuff. So all the live entertainment innovation and the immersive technology went from there. Phoebe Greenberg from Phi Center in Montreal, amazing woman, transform as well the industry by being one of the first to invest in digital creativity, and everything from mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality, AI. So, and the VFX industry is just incredible. We've got Then Denis Villeneuve, who's now is going to direct James Bond, but directed Dune and gave all
Yeah,
these
Dune was good,
contracts
yeah.
to VFX company in Montreal. So you've got all this ecosystem and active player and talent. That's the thing, amazing talent in Montreal. And I didn't even, I forgot the gaming. So, you've got Ubisoft, EA, plus all the indie studios. So you've got plenty of talent that is really required for an ecosystem and a viable VC specialized like us. So Montreal is just like a perfect nest for Triptyq. But in Canada as well, Canada has been fantastic in comedy and the IMAX technology. Many different companies. E1 was in Toronto as well. So I think we don't have to shy away, and we should be proud to what we laid as foundation. But now there's a new revolution. So I think the digital revolution we didn't take advantage enough. But now there's an immersive and AI and new computing.
You think we'll do
revolution.
better this time?
We should know, but we have to, because I would be scared. I would start to be scared about our culture, because you need to control the funnel at one point and the platform to get some sort of control on the content. So we need to invest, not just capital, but I think creativity, effort, entrepreneur, to find and to work and to build new platform, new infrastructure, new tooling, new distribution channels, so that we can get a little bit more autonomous on our culture and lifestyle.
Yeah.
And what define us at the end, right?
Yeah, because you also said there's a lot of talent here.
For sure.
And so Montreal deserves its place in the big scheme of things.
Yep.
But would you say that globally we're not quite recognized as the hub, like Montreal is recognized for the tech, the innovation?
It's really well recognized.
It's well recognized?
Oh yeah, internationally you go. It's probably what defines Montreal. Everyone, everywhere I'm traveling, people are like, from Montreal, amazing restaurant.
Yeah, they talk about the restaurants, yeah.
Amazing restaurant, and such a great creativity, and Cirque and Celine and blah blah blah. So they, you've got all of this, and when you go, the Canada, it's like all of our comedian, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey, Seth Rogen, blah blah, and we've got it all. The thing is, too many of those builders, if they really want to get a large success, they exit Canada. So they start here. We're really good at starting stuff, but we're a bit maybe shy or too humble to commercialize it and to conquer the world from Canada. So I think that's the thing we need to change, and it's a bit more in the mindset.
Yes, like you said, too humble.
Too humble. We're so kind, and we have to be more evil, a little bit more evil on. I'm joking, but I think we have to play the game, and we've got a fantastic opportunity right now.
Yeah,
because we're proud. We're gathering all together, and we're ready to change the economy.
Hopefully, we do not miss the boat this time.
We're one of the actor. I was at Triptyq is we want to offer that different path, because if we do apply the same recipe all the time, we'll get the same result.
Exactly.
And I think we have to change the recipe. And change, I know, might be uncomfortable, but I think we're there.
Is that where the power of curiosity comes in?
Oh, for sure.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Because I know that's one of the points that you...
I think that's the most superpower any manager founders should nurture, and even more at the era of AI. I think curiosity is not just about learning new stuff, or it's really about opening your mind and saying yes to stuff you don't know, and being ready for miscomfort. And I think that's the most important thing. And curiosity is, I would say, it's even more on other people than on topics. We need to be curious on why some people think different, because the originals, the outliers, the defiant, they're the one who are going to change the world. It's not the more conformist, they're the weirdos, the geek, whatever, name it. And I don't want to, I'm working with that type of people, and we have to be curious on how they see the world, because nobody's seeing the same future, but we have to be curious on how people from different background look at the world.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense. And what do you see the Montreal startup ecosystem in 5 to 10 years?
I think we're well positioned, super well positioned. I think we've got great schools. We've got talent. Lifestyle is amazing. Cost of life is still affordable. I think we can be really well positioned. I think we can be in the top 10 for sure, in the world. We've got the right foundation. I think it has to be a bit more grassroots versus institutionalized.
Okay.
So, and we're aiming and we're getting there. I can see that we've got the signals, and we have to find ways for founders to stay here and grow, not just start, but
Stay.
grow, scale here.
Do you have any ideas on how they could do that? I don't know. Government, do they have to be involved somehow or more?
No, I think
It will come.
it's a mindset, and I think more and more now we've got tech founders that started, that failed, or succeed. If they stay here, they'll nurture and mentor and help the other
Others,
generation.
yeah.
So I feel that's that cycle. So I think it takes a generation, so 20 years. I think we're gonna get there soon, because if you look in the 90s, it started. So I think we're getting there. So that's why I think we're well positioned, and in the full circle of life, we're getting into the
We're optimistic.
yeah.
And for Triptyq, what does the future hold for you guys?
Yeah, if I look at us in 3-5 years, I would say we're an investment platform. We're not just fund and every time adding more funds. We're an investing platform, which is ecosystem driven, really changing the way consumers and consumer technology suit the next generation, and just redefining the future of entertainment, just how we tell stories, how we experience arts and content, how every individual create, because I feel
Yeah.
that it's already starting. We're all creators and express their creativity. So yeah, that would be amazing if
Yeah.
we're that platform that can do it. So, and maybe to go back to what Montreal needs, being that platform that helps Montrealer and people from Quebec to just expand and
Yeah.
express how they see the world to everyone around the world.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's also a sense of you want to be proud of the city, not just help them with capital, but help the founders
And
to
our,
stay.
our,
Yeah.
our vision of the world in
Exactly.
Montreal is different. And I think it's attractive. It's as sexy as fair in the way we're seeing the world. So I think it's worth just screaming, barking our creativity to others.
Yeah, for sure. Well, did we miss anything? Is there anything else you want to add for the founders listening? Piece of advice.
No, I think it's for the founders, it's time to build.
Time to build.
Time to build. It's a fantastic time to build. I think we've got many transformative technologies right now, from AI, from robotics, from spatial computing. So it's pretty rare that we see those, technology, frontier technology that will completely changed the way we work, we transact, we consume, we communicate. So I think it's just fabulous to be a founder at that time. Frightening because it's the speed of innovation is going
Yes.
so fast, but at the same time, just it's time to build, and we need more people to build.
Great. Well, Guillaume, it was a pleasure to have you on the Montreal Entrepreneur Podcast.
Yeah, had fun. Thanks.
I really enjoyed what we discussed, your insights on VC and how you see the culture in Montreal with innovation.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Until next time.
Yeah.